Why is that not working? What the So I want to explain something that almost all of the entire fitness industry, bodybuilding community, personal trainers, you name it, do not understand. And it is something called the muscle force velocity curve. Has anybody been exposed to this? Probably not. So what I'm going to show you, what the muscle force velocity curve says is pretty much the variation in the amount of muscle force a muscle can produce based on speed, based on the speed of the contraction. So the faster you contract your muscles, the less force the tissue is able to produce. This is why fast repetitions suck. And the physiology behind this is, let me see if I could draw something. Is there a draw? No? All right. Well, the reason behind this is, so when you contract a muscle, what creates the tension is these, how is there no way to draw? I thought there would be. All right. The reason, so when you contract a muscle, what creates the hardness and the tension is these small myosin proteins, these myosin heads, attaching to and latching onto the actin protein. So basically what happens is these myosin heads grab onto the actin protein, create what's called a cross bridge or a connection. And this allows you to create tension in the muscle. Now, as I'm contracting, the myosin head is detaching ATP, an adenosine group detaches from ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and the breaking apart releases energy that allows this myosin head to detach from the actin protein, causing another one next to it to go latch back on. This is what's happening as you contract a muscle. A myosin head is grabbing on, breaking off. The one next to it is grabbing on, breaking off. So this is what's happening. Myosin head grabs on, breaks off, and pulls. Other myosin head grabs on, breaks off, and pulls. All right, does that make sense? That's what's happening as you are contracting the muscle. But if we move quickly, the faster or the more velocity in our contraction, the less opportunity the myosin head has to grab on and pull. So if we contract quickly, we're skipping over a bunch of myosin heads, and the amount of cross bridging or the amount of connections between the myosin and the actin filament is less. Because we're moving so quickly, we are reducing opportunity for the myosin head to grab onto the actin filament and create a cross bridge. So we're creating less cross bridging. This is why when you go to lift something heavy, you do it slowly. Why? Because your body needs time to create cross bridging, to produce tension and create contractile force. That is why when you lift something heavy, it is done slowly, because your body is anatomically creating more cross bridging by moving slowly. So as you can see on the graph here, the faster we contract our muscle, the less muscle force is produced. So why lift slowly as well? Well, if we lift more slowly and we do not lift quickly, first of all, we're creating less muscle force by lifting quickly. Sure, you are creating a little bit more, a lot of force in the beginning to overcome inertia, but that muscle force is completely dropping off by as much as 50% because it's unneeded since momentum is carrying it through the rest of the way. When we're lifting quickly, we are getting less cross bridging in between the actin, myosin filaments. We are getting less mechanical damage on the myosin heads, and therefore less of a stimulus deep in the muscle tissue on the actin and myosin filaments. So not only are you able to lift less weight if you try to move it quickly, you're getting less cross bridging, less stimulus, more force, mass times acceleration, which should not be confused with muscle force, producing force during a movement by lifting it quickly, and muscle force, meaning the amount of muscle torque in the tissue, are two different things. If you move quickly, you're creating more excessive force, which is going to be more dangerous, and less muscle force, which is going to result in less cross bridging, less tension, less stimulus. This is part of the reason why lifting quickly is stupid and less effective. Now, when you're lowering a weight, as you can see, as the velocity increases lowering a weight, the amount of muscle force does not change. This is due to gravity. This does not apply. It only applies on the concentric or lifting phase of the range of motion. Physiologically, this is another reason to lift more slowly, okay? So the reason I tell you to lift slowly is not because it's some like different new thing. It's basic physics and muscle physiology. Basic. And it all comes down to the amount of cross bridging. So the faster your muscles contract concentrically, the less force they're able to produce. So if the goal of exercise is to generate tension in the muscle in order to generate stress in the muscle, to stimulate an adaptive response through fatigue, then if lifting more slowly produces more muscle force, thereby produces more tension, thereby produces more fatigue, thereby produces much more stress, then lifting slowly is going to be a more effective stimulus. There is no counter argument to this. It is clear-cut physiology and physics. So I'm going to read something by Drew Bay explaining the argument for lifting fast or lifting slowly. Okay, so some proponents of lifting quickly, this is what they say. And Drew Bay, who's going to be on my live stream next Wednesday at noon, my personal mentor, taught me a lot about exercise, who also learned about exercise from straight up geniuses in exercise. This is something he said in one of his articles. He says, some proponents of fast repetition speeds claim the greater force required to accelerate more quickly when lifting a weight is beneficial because of the increased muscle tension. However, this ignores that the tension is only higher relative to the weight used and only during initial acceleration. During the initial acceleration, you impart kinetic energy to the mass being moved, energy which reduces the force you must apply to keep the weight moving proportionally for a brief period after. In parentheses, when throwing something, it is this kinetic energy that keeps it moving after you've let go. If when lifting a weight you apply 50% more force than the force of gravity on it during the initial acceleration, you will have to apply 50% less force after this due to kinetic energy. So in the beginning, you're applying 50% more force on the object in order to get it moving. And it's directly after you apply that 50% of force to get it moving, you provide 50% less force in order to keep it moving, which is actually helping your muscles relax. The average force still ends up being the same as the force of gravity on the weight. It just varies more, higher and lower with greater acceleration. So you're not producing more force by lifting it quickly. It's just a greater difference in change. If you lift more slowly, you will be capable of producing more force and using a heavier weight, allowing for a greater average tension, but while keeping the force within known safe levels. Okay. Let's see. So this is the force velocity curve. Most of the fitness industry is completely unaware of this. Most of the fitness industry is completely unaware of the actin and myosin filament, sliding filament theory. And this is more evidence why you should lift slowly, because you're getting more muscle tension, more cross bridging, more activation, lifting more slowly. Okay. Just a basic thing I wanted to cover just relatively quickly, and then take some questions on this. There's really not much else to explain. It's just the damn force velocity curve. So if you have any questions on this, we're going to go over them. Because we take a physiology, evidence-based approach to exercise, not tradition like Arnold Schwarzenegger, not tradition like NFL players practicing for their sport or doing whatever silly running in the sand fucking nonsense they like to do. We look at this from a logical perspective because we're smart. Let's see. Here's a question. Is it better to train smaller muscle groups? I hate this question. Such as biceps and triceps more frequently? No. Why would you train a smaller muscle group more? That doesn't make any sense. It would be the opposite. You'd want to train your larger muscle group more, right? No. Training a muscle more frequently does not appear to have any additional benefit in improvements in muscular size or strength. Granted, sufficient stress and stimulus is applied through training with a deep level of inroad and aggressive muscle fatigue. There will never be a case, if you are training your muscles hard, where more frequency will be better. Ever. Get that out of your head. The problem is most people want the results faster than their body will give them to them. So what you guys are trying to do is work out more frequently, thinking that your results are going to come faster, but they're not. They're not going to come faster. Let's see. All right, so this will increase bat speed, hand speed, in order to increase bat speed, hand speed, etc., there's a combination of making the muscles stronger. So the stronger your muscle is, the more contractile force they can produce, the more force is going to act on the limb and propel it with more velocity forward. So it kind of has to do with the force velocity curve. The more force you can place on your limb, throwing a punch, for instance, the more force you can act on it, overcoming inertia, the more velocity you're going to produce. So you simply have to make your muscle stronger. What is the speed for a warm-up set? Everything should be done slow. As I'm explaining to you through the force velocity curve, there's no fucking reason to ever do anything fast unless you are practicing a skill which must be performed fast. You don't want to practice swinging a bat slowly. That's not an exercise. That is a skill. But the goal of an exercise is to load the muscles by producing myosin and actin cross bridging. So when we load the muscles, the actin and myosin are going to cross bridge. This is going to create tension. If you create enough tension over time, it's going to create fatigue. The fatigue is going to result in a stress, which stimulates anabolic pathways to increase the amount of myosin proteins on the myofibril. So with that said, the goal is to load the muscle. Based on the force velocity curve, the faster you go, the less the muscle is loaded, the further away we drift from our objective, which is to load the damn muscle. So what's the speed on the warm-up set? Everything involving exercise should be done slowly. Skill, on the other hand, should be done and performed in practice as quickly as you would use it in the particular activity. I only have access to dumbbells. Can you please tell me the best dumbbell triceps exercise? Simply a triceps extension laying on the floor, or as some people call them, a skull crusher. Lay on the floor, extend the elbow. Do not fully extend the elbow. That will take tension off the triceps. Laying on the floor, slowly extend and lower slowly. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. All right, this is weird. I'm really short, 5'9". 5'9" is not really short. That's literally average height. So I'm afraid to do squats. Believe it or not, it's generally easier for shorter people to do squats. I'm not really sure. Why are you afraid to do squats? I'm 16. Will squats affect my height growth? No. If anything, exercise will increase growth hormone production, which may potentially increase growth. Basically, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to eat it. If you want to optimize your height at that age, you eat a shitload of protein. Tons. Oh, we got a troll. RG Fitness. And let's see. All right, let's see. Pause, hold, explode is one principle of speed training, such as powerlifting and Olympic lifting. Yeah, because the goal of powerlifting and Olympic lifting is to get the weight up. So you actually want to reduce the amount of tension and force under the muscle, because the more tension and the more force is placed on the muscle, the faster it's going to fatigue. And you want to fatigue as little as possible in powerlifting and Olympic lifting. Okay. So that is why you want to lift quickly. You want to be able to move the weight with as little involvement or as little fatigue on your muscles as possible. That's why you do that. Yep. Order Golden Era answers all these questions. Yes. Golden Era answers a lot of questions. All right. Ellington Darden has great routines. If you tried 30-30-30, it's pretty much nonsense. A lot of Ellington Darden's newer stuff is no more effective than any of the older stuff. It's just different. All right. Let's see. Thoughts on the DC training style, as in taking to failure, rest 15 seconds, reps again, repeat. If you're taking it to failure, true failure, you don't need to do additional sets. It's pretty much just a waste of your time. It's like cleaning your car, drying it, getting it clean, and then just cleaning it again for the hell of it. It's already as clean as you can get it. Cleaning it 2 or 3 more times isn't going to make it any cleaner. Do you think the average person could develop a good back with just a rowing movement, or is a pull-up, pull-down necessary? You can get a good back with a rowing movement where you get the optimal muscle development in your back with just a rowing movement. Probably not. I don't feel anything on my chest when doing chest press, but I feel it when I do chest fly. You're probably not doing anything wrong. You're probably using a horrible chest press. If you're using something like a hammer strength, you're going to feel it on your chest. If you're using something like a matrix or a life fitness, it's a piece of shit. You're probably not going to feel much on your chest because it's horrible. Let's see. Would having big muscles mitigate martial arts skill? Depends. If you're 250 pounds of solid muscle, yes. If you're 180 pounds versus 160 pounds, no. It depends. Muscles can get in the way sometimes, but none of you are ever going to get too big to where it interferes with martial arts. You'd have to be bodybuilder big. All right, let's see. I've been going for 10 months, but properly dieting since June. Why am I not noticing significant changes? I'm trying to lose weight. You're not properly dieting. There's something you're doing wrong. You should click the link in the description, sign up for my 12-week coaching so I can guide you through it. You're doing something wrong. Clearly, obviously. Chances are you're eating too much still, and your training might be off. Whoa, these are coming in quick. Ab training thoughts. Most people overtrain abs and don't get any results. Yes. I don't train abs at all and don't have popping abs. All right, I don't know what that means. Training your abs is not going to have an effect on the appearance of your abs. Reducing the amount of fat tissue above them is through diet. What are your thoughts on 75 hard fitness challenge? Fucking retarded. That's my thoughts. Can I train just slow enough to remove force, but not too slow? 3-3? Yeah, you can do 3-3 cadence. You just got to do it slow enough to reduce force. Again, I mean, it's also going to depend on friction too. If you're using a machine with a shitload of friction, you might need to go a little faster. Slow is slow enough to maintain muscular loading, to maintain the ability for the actin-myosin to cross bridge. Are simple amino acids more optimal for muscle growth than complex amino acids? Dude, what are you talking about? There's essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. There's no such thing as simple amino acids and complex amino acids. I don't know where the fuck you got that from. All right, let's see. Would squats with hands by your sides holding the weight work the hamstrings enough for growth? Yeah, it'll work it enough for growth. Will it work it enough for optimal growth? No. Any basic movement is going to result in muscle group for all the muscle groups. But you're going to want to work muscle groups directly, some muscle groups directly in order to optimize their growth. The difference between getting a muscle to grow and getting it to grow optimally is adding direct exercises. Just hop in. Some of this was covered, but it's 4-second optimal. No. You guys got to watch some more content. I cover all this shit. There's no optimal rep speed. You want it slow enough to reduce momentum, but not so slow to where your muscles start to relax. There's no such thing as an optimal rep speed. Anywhere between 3 and 10. No faster than 3, no slower than 10. See, as a physical therapist, I always advocate slow, controlled movements to activate the right muscle versus compensated movement. Yep. What's going to be the difference between 85% and 93% lean beef? 93% has 8% more fat, or 8% less fat. 85% is going to have more calories per serving because of the fat. Do you not believe pre-exhaustion to be necessary before a set to failure? No, I don't. There's research done on this. I'll show you. All right, so there's a study done in 2015. The effects of pre-exhaustion, exercise order, rest intervals, and a full body resistance training intervention. What they found was, in conclusion, pre-exhaustion training offers no greater benefit to performing the same exercise with rest between them compared to exercise performed in order that prioritizes compound movement. So the study showed that pre-exhaust does not produce additional benefit. Do you recommend fasting? No, I do not, because your body uses protein better for muscle growth if it's broken up throughout the day. Fasting prevents you from breaking up protein throughout the day. If I'm 180 pounds, want to be 210 pounds, 12%, would you recommend getting to 210 and maintaining? So here's the thing. What is your current body fat? You're looking at 30 pounds of muscle. Depending on your age, genetics, probably unrealistic. But you need to know what your starting body fat percentage is. If you're 180, 15% body fat, and you want to get to 212, 12% body fat, that's a net gain of 36 pounds of lean muscle. Not going to happen. Let's see. Just started following your program for the last 3 weeks, and the pump I get is more than any 3x8 program. Of course it is. Want to know why? Maintaining muscular tension. What? Your thoughts on body recomposition versus calorie deficit. A calorie deficit is necessary for body recomposition. Are you talking about building muscle and losing fat and maintaining the same calorie intake? Not going to happen. Is BCA supplementation necessary for vegetarian people? The answer to that is don't be a vegetarian. That's how you answer that one. Don't be a vegetarian. Vegetarians are for beta males. That's it. Thoughts on doing faster reps for calves, neck, forearms due to little range of motion? Yeah, you can do them a little quicker. Again, anything between 3 and 10. You don't need to stick to like a specific repetition cadence. I can't eat meat. It's against my religion. What about chicken and fish? You can eat that, can't you? Just eat animals. Whatever animal you can eat. Eggs. You should have Drew Bay come on your channel. I did. I scheduled it. It's next Wednesday at noon. He's coming out. Will I ever offer certifications? No. How do you lower calories without nutrient vitamin deficiency? Huh? Dude, you can get your optimal vitamins and nutrients with less calories. What are you talking about? You're not going to, just because you lower calories to a normal range doesn't mean you're going to be deficient in nutrients and vitamins. You guys have a lot of weird assumptions. Probably because of the plethora of retarded shit in the fitness industry. Did somebody say in the fitness industry that if you go in a calorie deficit, you're going to be deficient in vitamin and nutrients? What? The human body likely ate about 1,000 calories a day over the course of our evolution. It's only within the last 100 years people have a calorie surplus. We did just fine. What about barbell compound movements like deadlift and squat? Yes, of course. Any exercise. Why would the deadlift and squat be any different? Let me ask you that. Answer this. Why would you want to perform a deadlift or a squat faster? What benefit would there be? That's exactly what I'm talking about. So if it's not possible, can we at least maintain muscle while losing fat? Yes, you can build muscle while losing fat. You don't lose. So when you're cutting, you're probably not losing muscle. You're losing muscle glycogen in water. And if you are losing muscle, then you are in too drastic of a calorie deficit. Of course, I had a client in my coaching that's 50 years old. He lost 14 pounds of fat and gained 3 pounds of muscle in 1 month in a calorie deficit. All right, let's see. I know the range is wide, but as a ballpark estimate, how much muscle can the average natural bodybuilder gain? Well, it's going to depend on your age. If you're like 20 years old, untrained, probably like 15 pounds. 10 to 15 pounds would be an average. Does stretching pull-ups increase height? No. Will boxing 2 times a week affect muscle growth? No. I was following Kino Body's program before finding you and ended up getting hurt on his program. Yeah, because you're moving quickly. I mean, there's a couple of reasons to move slowly. Again, one, you allow more cross-bridging between the actin myosin filaments. And anybody who argues against this is a fucking retard, and you should never listen to them again. 2, you reduce peak forces, which makes it safer. Do you implement intensity techniques like rest, pause, and drop sets into your clients' training? Depends. It depends on their ability to generate intensity. Sometimes it helps. Generally, no. I personally like to do drop sets on subpar equipment because I can tell the difference. Sometimes if you're doing an exercise and you reach failure or you get stuck, sometimes you're just reaching a sticking point where the resistance is too much for that particular part of the strength curve. In that case, you didn't reach failure. The drop set helps. But if you're using like a MedX, piece of MedX equipment or a well-designed exercise, you don't need drop sets or rest pause. They're just different ways to skin the cat, which aren't necessarily any more effective. They're just different. Just like Ellington Darden's 30-30-30. It's not going to be any more effective. It's just different. Just like if I wanted to cut a piece of chicken, I could use a knife, I could use an electric saw, I could use a weed whacker, I could use a fucking axe. There's a bunch of different ways to cut a piece of chicken. Some ways are better. You know, a really high-end knife like I have is a very good way of cutting a chicken. Using plastic butter knife, probably not so much. Using battle ropes to grow your shoulders is the equivalent of trying to cut a piece of raw chicken with a plastic butter knife. Using a MedX overhead press is the equivalent of using one of my Heckler, whatever, sharpened knives. Different tools. Whoop. Thanks for the content. Slow push-ups, blast in my chest. You bet they will. It came to your body from your Kino Body post. Yeah, Kino Body, you know, I didn't really care about him, but then I heard his father was like some real estate gazillionaire. And Kino Body posts his videos with this mansion behind him. And it's his parents' mansion. I'm just like, dude, you're a fraud. Such a douche. All right, let's see. Great point. Should we always do a small failure set after the big set to test if we actually failed? Yeah, you can. You probably won't overtrain. If you're working out at like an LA Fitness or Planet Fitness, depending on the equipment used, if you're using hammer strength equipment and you reach failure, you very likely actually reach failure. But if you're using something like Life Fitness, Matrix, Sport Track, any of those things, you're probably reaching a sticking point, and you should probably just do a breakdown set. All right, let's see. I lost 75 pounds on keto intermittent fasting because it helped get me disciplined. Started lifting with little results until I added carbs back. Here's why, guys. Carbs are beneficial for muscle growth. The combination of carbs and protein stimulate a better hypertrophic response and muscle growth than protein alone. This is why you never really want to completely eliminate carbs. This is funny. How to grow a beard? Don't shave. Don't shave. I know. I just started. The reason I started growing a beard is because I saw a picture of my father when he was like, I don't know, maybe my age. And he has this fucking awesome, thick, dark beard. And I'm trying to see if I have the genetics to get it. So far, I think I do. I don't like it. It's kind of uncomfortable. People don't like slowing down the reps because it makes it way more challenging. Yep. And they hate the fact that they have to use like half the weight. Yes. That's exactly why people will be reluctant slowing down the reps, because they don't feel strong. But listen, guys, I've been training with slow controlled repetitions, 1 to 2 sets to failure, low frequency, for about the last 9 years. Okay. The other day, actually a month ago or so, I went into the gym and I grabbed the 120-pound dumbbells and I chest pressed them like they weighed nothing. I did it quickly just to demonstrate. That's how strong slowing it down will still make you. I'm going to go into the gym sometime this weekend maybe and film myself chest pressing 140-pound dumbbells just to prove that lifting slower doesn't make you any weaker. Let's see. Could you slowly lift a bar from the floor to the rack position? Surely there's a benefit of explosive movement like a clean. There's no benefit at all to doing a movement like a clean explosively unless you are competing at doing that particular lift. There's no physiological benefit to doing a movement explosively. None. And if people say that there is, they do not understand motor unit recruitment. They do not understand Henneman's size principle, and they do not understand skill transfer. There's no reason, and there never will be a reason, that doing an exercise explosively is more beneficial than doing it slowly. Now, let's see. I only train with free weights at home. In this case, would you recommend drop sets? Maybe. Depends on the exercise. If you want to maximize your beard growth, use minoxidil or a derma roller. I'm not having any trouble, actually. I kind of trim it up a lot. That's why it's not. And it gets like fuzzy. Hipsters ruined beards just like they ruined tattoos. Dude, I can't agree with you more. Hipsters are like beta male pussies that appear to be, or try to appear to be, tough. Ugh. I want to get a sleeve tattoo, but there's so many pussies out there that have sleeve tattoos. It's not even cool anymore. I don't even like them. Thoughts on ring dips, push-ups, pull-ups? Stupid. Want to know why? Because you have to try to balance yourself on rings. You don't want to try to balance during an exercise. You want an exercise that helps you maintain center of gravity without you trying to balance yourself. This will take away from the amount of inroad you can produce in your muscles and make the exercise less effective. Can HIIT help with my pain in my shoulder, chest press? Should I implement pain relief exercise or continue with? Dude, it really depends what is causing your shoulder pain. Can't really answer that. Let me take this off. I'm going to go for a couple more minutes. I got to do stuff. All right, let's see. So if I cut my calories to a small deficit and kept it for a while, wouldn't the body adapt to make them deficit calories as maintenance calories? No. So how do I go about this without being in a big deficit? Trial and error. Start with a 500 calorie deficit. If you're losing weight, stay on it. If you stop losing weight, take a few more calories out. It's super simple. This really is the most over complicated thing in the fitness industry is weight loss. It is literally simply eat less calories and eat a lot of protein to maintain muscle. Let's see. Definitely notice strength increases just in everyday life since doing your methodology. 100% believer in it. Yeah, well, guess what, guys? Remember, it's not my methodology. It's just research-based training. So again, I get, my methods are based on what the vast majority of exercise science literature suggests. Here's the study. Go read it. It's not my methodology. A couple of exercise scientists looked at all the available literature in muscle growth, and this is what they came up with, what I'm telling you guys. They've also trained over 20,000 sessions using it. Is lean bulking beneficial to build muscle? There's no such thing as lean bulking, just calorie surplus. If you're skinny, a mild calorie surplus is useful. If you have too much fat, do not do a calorie surplus. Lose the fat first. Have you seen the video of Dorian Yates train Mike Thurston? One set to failure. Mike is a massive volume guy, and he was shaking. Yeah. Mike Thurston is probably a volume guy because he likes going to the gym. It's his whole brand. Mike Thurston has a great fucking physique. I think Mike Thurston is one of the best physiques. Do you think HIIT style training can have some carryover to powerlifting? I don't know, not really, because so much of powerlifting is neurological that you've got to practice powerlifting the way you'll do it in a competition. You just have to. You can't train slowly with less weight and then go in the competition. There's a neurological adaptation that has to take place there. Powerlifting is a sport. It's not a training style. It's a sport. And you've got to, if you're going to do the sport, you got to practice the sport. Former gymnast here, rings are for demonstrating strength, not building it. Yep. What did Mike Mentzer get wrong in your opinion? Protein intake. He got way wrong. Mike Mentzer, first of all, Mike Mentzer's cadence sucked too. Mike Mentzer lifts relatively quickly, and I don't like it. I'll show you. We'll look at Mike Mentzer's. Mike Mentzer got, most of it right. Mike Mentzer's consolidation routine is stupid unless you train really, really frigging hard, which most people don't. Mike Mentzer was wrong about protein. You want to eat way more protein than Mike Mentzer suggested. Mike Mentzer was right about carbohydrates. Mike Mentzer was wrong about always doing a fully supinated curl because Mike Mentzer did not understand carrying angle. Mike Mentzer was wrong about pre-exhaust. Just a couple things. He was right about a lot of stuff, though, obviously. Here's my video, 220,000 views. Damn. Mike Mentzer training. All right, let's see if we can get a video of him training, and I'll show you. He's not very good. I guess we'll look at my video. Yeah, Mike Mentzer's form was atrocious, but it was better than almost everybody else. So can't hate him for it. That's a terrible exercise. Don't do it. All right, let's see. That's Ray Mentzer. Actually, so, I would move slower than that, but he's moving 1,000 times slower than everyone else was. So this was really good for back then. You also don't want to lean all the way forward. I don't know why he's doing that. The repetition speed was not very good. All right, so here's a couple things. First of all, he's going to start the movement way too fast. The form sucks. He pauses at the bottom. Horrible. Do not train like this. He relaxes at the bottom. Up again. This is just horrible, horrible, horrible. Flings it up. That's not slow, guys. That's horrible. I mean, will it work? Yeah, but this is not high intensity training. This is just some bullshit. And then he's moving his hips around. I think he starts moving his head and neck around. He relaxes completely at the bottom. I don't know what the fuck this is. Terrible. Look, he's looking around. Don't move your head and neck around when you're training. That is atrociously horrible. Yeah, that was fucking pathetic. Moving his head, moving his neck, locking out at the top. I mean, this is a lot of shit Mike Metzer got wrong. This is just bad. I mean, granted, this is his brother, but this is horrible. Yeah. So just a couple things Mike Metzer got wrong. Shit. How to easily spot a fake natty? Who gives a fuck? Honestly, who cares? Who cares? Someone wants to do steroids, let them do steroids. But if they're doing steroids and selling you a high volume workout program, then they're a fraud. All right, let's see. Mentor seemed to believe slow cardio was the best way to burn fat. He was wrong. Why does the pump after the gym? It's called intracellular swelling. The amount of water outside of your muscle cell. So you normally have. So basically, what happens is water from outside of your muscle cell moves into your muscle cell, increasing its diameter temporarily, and this also has to do with dilation or expanding of the blood vessels, vasodilation. That's why you're going to pump. Why does the pump go away so fast? Well, because you have a lot of fluid from the outside of your muscle cell going into your muscle cell that expands temporarily, but then that fluid goes back to reaching an equilibrium, goes back to the outside of the cell eventually. All right. How can I know how often you hit? You have to experiment. All right, but I'll morning and the feeling. All right. This doesn't really make any sense. Can't really answer that. All right, couple more questions. Good questions. Do not ask me about how often you should train. Do not ask me how many exercises you should do. I've covered that a million times. Do you use creatine? If so, how frequently? Not really anymore, just because I've been forgetting. But I would just use like 5 grams of creatine on workout days. That's all. Creatine is not going to have a huge increase in muscle growth. It will help you push yourself harder in the gym, which will help you produce a more effective stimulus, which will result in muscle growth. But nothing about creatine itself contributes to the muscle growth stimulus or the muscle growth process. Simply, creatine just helps you regenerate ATP or adenosine triphosphate more quickly. So you can generate ATP more quickly, then you will be able to have more energy, more intensity for pushing your body harder in the gym, which will help you build more muscle. What do you think of Jeff Nippard? I don't really care, honestly. I don't really watch. You guys gotta remember, I don't watch a lot of these YouTubers because why would I? You know, I can't watch a lot of these fitness YouTubers because it's like watching a woman explain how to fix a car with a paintbrush. It's just like, it's so fucking wrong. It's like painful to watch. So I don't really watch them. Carnivore. No, don't do carnivore diet. If you want to optimize muscle growth, you're going to need some carbohydrates. Don't do a carnivore diet. Are we carnivores? No, we're not. We're omnivores. All right, guys, that's it for me today. GoldenEraSystem.com. If you haven't tried the system yet, it's awesome. As you can tell, I posted some comments. People get great results from it. It's evidence-based approaches to exercise. Whether or not you agree with it doesn't really matter. The evidence is there. So if you guys are stuck in your training and not seeing very good results, if you guys aren't seeing very good results, try the Golden Era system. You will see results if you do it correctly fast. I had one guy, he benched 2 plates for the first time ever within 1 week of using the Golden Era system. All right. I've had other guys. I had another guy, somebody in my personal coaching, put on 10 pounds of muscle in 3 weeks using the Golden Era system. Many people put on about 5 pounds of muscle in just 1 to 2 weeks. Why? Because it's based on exercise science and evidence, not tradition, not biased research. This is the way it is, guys. This is the truth. These are the facts. This is the reality of training. It is what it is. There is only one reality, one truth. When it comes to exercise, this is it. You can do whatever you want, clearly, but this will be the most effective, safest, and time-efficient way to transform your body. If you want me to work with you directly in my 12-week coaching, click the link in the description for coaching, and we will transform your physique even faster with my direct help, unlimited contact to me, and direct guidance. So if you're really serious about transforming your physique quickly and effectively, let me guide you through coaching. Click the link in the description. The link for Golden Era System is also in the description. I promise you, if you try this workout, your results are going to be sick. And you're only going to have to work 2 days a week. Is skipping leg day okay? No, dude. The fuck? Don't skip leg day. There is no leg day in the Golden Era system. There is legs. Just like there's chest, just like there is shoulders. You do not skip leg day. No, do not skip leg day. You crazy? All right, guys. Follow me on Instagram, _J_Vincent. I'm not running any specials today with the Golden Era system. Maybe I will this week. Maybe this week. Oh, by the way, with the HIIT home workout, I added 10 new videos, 10 new exercises. So if you got the HIIT home workout, check it. I added a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be running a promo later this week, giving the HIIT home workout for free. Later this week. Maybe I'll do it later today. Maybe I won't. We'll see. All right. Till next time, guys.